let's pretend that you have a crystal ball. Now, I don't know if everyone knows what a crystal ball is, but it's a ball that's clear. It sits on something so it doesn't roll. And you can look into it, and it will tell you the future.
Yeah.
And you probably don't play that in your guys' cartoons nowadays. It's probably old school now. It's just a bunch of lasers or phasers or guns and fighting. I don't know. What goes on in cartoons nowadays?
Lasers.
Lasers, okay. Laser.
It's true.
All lasers.
Anyway, so if you had a crystal ball, right, pretend that you could forecast or look into the future and figure out what your future is for your audio system. How would you do that?
Yeah, it's sort of the age-old question. People always want to know, well, where do I start? What should I do? Where should I go? Maybe you're a little indecisive. I think this is actually a complicated but easy one. There's sort of practical approaches. There does seem to be the people that are willing to go full bore right out the gates and just give me the best. I don't want to think about it. But usually they'll kind of be familiar with that. Usually they'll know right out of the gate. It's like, I don't want to mess around. Just give me the best, right? So we're pretty much going to talk to the people that aren't that, a little less decisive. And maybe they don't want to spend a huge amount of money, right? They're not convinced yet. Where do they start?
You're asking me?
Yeah. I don't know. It's like,
Well, okay, where do they start? Well, all right. Where do you start? You start with, I think the first thing you got to do is try to imagine what your end game is. Not end game, that's the wrong word, because in headphones that means that the last thing you'll ever buy. But what's your end goal? What are your goals? In fact, with anything, whether you're starting a business, starting a family, starting your car, you need to know where you're going, right? So you need a goal. So the first thing is define the goal, right? What's the goal?
Sounds like a motivational speech.
Yeah.
Well, I think the easiest way to start is understand how much you're willing to spend now. Because for most people, their thoughts, hopes, aspirations, and whatnot, they're going to change.
See, I think that's a mistake, though. You shouldn't start with the money. You start with the goal. And then you figure out the money later.
no.
It's a very different approach.
Then you're thinking small. You're always thinking less than what you might need to reach the goal. And you're crippling yourself, don't you think?
Depends on the age group.
Okay.
Like if you only have $200 in your bank account, what does it matter?
That's fine. Fine.
There's actually, you go one step back, though. You actually just got to start. Starting's key,
Start.
Yeah.
With how much money?
Well, it doesn't
what's the
matter.
goal?
It doesn't matter. Start.
Start.
Okay. I guess, yes. But this one's a little, I think, straightforward because for most people, their biggest limitation is the apparent lack of funds. And I say apparent because a lot of people initially don't really feel the need to spend more than a certain amount. And of course, it's always some arbitrary value. It could be $10, $500, $5,000. The value changes based on the person, their experience, and stuff like that. So generally speaking, the start isn't sort of a terrible recommendation because it does seem like it's a good idea. Like if you think, well, I think I would like to try this thing out. I want to see what high-end headphones have to offer. I only have ever spent $20 for earbuds before. I want to move up a little bit, right? Browse on a forum, whatever, see what a couple of people say, just pick a thing, right? Go for it.
Because you don't know anything, right?
You really don't. That's sort of the issue. If you don't have any guidance at this point, I think the only option is discovery for yourself and just buy something.
But you still need a goal. Like you need
a goal. Sure.
I could think of an analogy as a car. When you get your first car, what do you want? A Ferrari, Lamborghini, Porsche. You want a sports car, right?
Well,
but you can't possibly afford a sports car working part-time at Burger King. It's not going to happen. It's your first job, right? So what do you get? You get what you can afford.
Well, you get
that
whatever
is as
you can,
sporty as possible, right? Which could be a Toyota Corolla. But the point is like, you think about it, you're starting somewhere, and to you, in your price range, that's probably, especially if you get the color you want.
That's as good as it gets.
You can give it a coat of wax, blacken the tires, maybe put some new tires on it. To you, that's your sports car, right? Yeah. Okay, you got a goal, but that's as good as you could do. And for now, that's your sports car, and you're good with that. And you keep it up, right? You polish it, you keep it washed. At least that's when I was a kid. I was always washing my car, keeping it clean. You got to do something when you're a kid, right?
It all comes down to you need to start though, because then you know what direction you need to go.
Yeah, you got to start somewhere. That's the other way to look at it. You have to start somewhere.
Right.
So start where you can, and then see where it takes you. You may wind up with a station wagon. Well, they don't make stations anymore. You may wind up with an SUV and maybe decide sports car aren't for you. You never know.
Yeah. Overwhelmingly, it is very difficult for someone else to tell you what you want. You sort of need to know for
Very.
yourself. So the issue is if you don't know right now, you need to get in a place where you do know, which bit of a growth process there. And I guess starting is the way to go.
Yeah.
Buy something, see if you like it, see what you think, see what you don't like about it, more importantly. And then hopefully it doesn't cost all that much. Hopefully maybe you could resell it or keep it, whatever you want to do, and move up in 6, 12, 24 months.
But always have an ultimate goal. Because you know what? That is motivational in life, to have
I
that
know.
goal. It's motivational. Someday, you'll find a way to reach that goal. And you'll be surprised along the path where it'll take you. Where if you have no goal, then you might never go anywhere with it.
Yeah, could be a bit of a forcing function, I suppose.
It's okay to look in the crystal ball and go, I want a Ferrari or a Lamborghini or a Porsche. It's okay. Because that's a cool goal. If it takes you 40 years to get there, it's okay. You reached your goal.
Well, I think most people prefer it didn't.
Well, true, but the important thing is what happened in between. All that
It
stuff.
actually is, though. That's
Yeah, I mean that's life.
Sounds a
That's
little
what that's
cliche,
what the
but-
whole process of growing up and
And along that path, your goal may change.
It probably will, in fact.
totally will. Yeah, totally will.
That's sort of the
All
thing.
because you started.
Yeah, and it will be refined as you get older too. You will refine the goal. You'll find that it's not the same goal that you thought it was when you were 16. Or
Well, that's why endgame is very difficult for most people. Because you get endgame and you're like, oh, actually, maybe not endgame, though.
So on that note of wisdom, thank you everybody for watching. Take care of yourselves. Thumbs us up.